We have the most comprehensive and powerful end-to-end verification technology. We explore all the verification technology from zero-knowledge proof to trusted execution environment to multi-sig, and each of those also have different modes like a real-time computation, parallel computation, and now including formal verification. You can think about right now there is a whole portfolio of verification technologies. When we compare Web 2 and Web 3, you can see that there is a few things that is very well refined in Web 3 that is still missing in Web 2 is the verifiability. They only care about authentication and verification. Nobody is caring about verification in Web 2. And I think that is a big missing piece in Web 2. But they don't care if you're lying, if you are saying the truth. I think in 5 years, verifiability will be a cornerstone, a key ingredient in the Web 2 security landscape. And Sparsity will be at the center to provide that service. Hi guys, I'm really happy to be here to introduce my project, our project. I'm Justin, I'm the co-founder of Sparsity. I'd love to tell you more about Sparsity and our journey. Sure. Let me introduce my background. So I grew up working on algorithms. I participated in the IOI competition and won a gold medal. I also participated in ACM ICPC algorithm competition. Later, I studied parallel computation and parallel algorithm at MIT in my graduate school. Afterwards, I also so right now I'm also teaching zero knowledge proof at NTU in Singapore. I teach there every year. So that's my background in the algorithm and the theoretical computation side. On the other side, I love to develop games since I was a kid, and that drive me into graphics and AI as well. I spent several years working on AI, including 1 year working on the brain science side in MIT. Basically, what we did is we reconstruct the structure of biological brain and study them. That was super interesting. I also spent several years in large Web 2 companies like Microsoft, Google, Snapchat, and NVIDIA building consumer-facing applications. Previously, I was the head of strategic intelligence at Certic for 2 years. I was leading a team with up to 20 people analyzing blockchain attacks in real time. So we are very knowledgeable about DeFi and DeFi attacks. I can also talk about how did we start this company, which is we started this company by building zero knowledge proof on-chain games, zero knowledge proof on-chain mafia or werewolf game. So it was very interesting. It used both zero knowledge proof and multi-party competition. By the way, I'm still so interested in zero knowledge proof. My car plate is ZK Snark. And later, through that project, we realized that there's such a big gap between the Web 2 computing infrastructure, because I've spent many years in Web 2 software company, and the Web 3 developing infrastructure. We see there's an astronomical gap between them, and we want to bridge that to see if there's a middle ground that has both the performance of Web 2 and also the trust of Web 3, which give birth to Sparsity, the project we're currently working on. So we started last year, but before that, we already spent some time building different applications in Web 3. So we offer the world's most advanced verifiable computing platform. So you can basically build any kind of verifiable computing workload on Sparsity. And once you verify those computation, you can either settle them on-chain, or you just simply can provide whoever needs verification needs to ensure that the machine is the integrity of the computation, that the machine does not lie. And through this verification process, you can also protect the user's privacy, data privacy, and empower the user to own their own data. And our platform is especially strong because we have have a key technical advantage in things like verifiable real-time computing, verifiable massively parallel computation, etc. So I think the biggest challenge we are facing is that the platform we are building is a very versatile. It can use to build you can build so many different things on top of Sparsity. You can build games, you can build AI application, build AI agent, you can build like a high-speed decentralized exchanges, DEX. So I think the biggest challenge we faced before is that you need to find out a niche to zero in, to dive in, to really dive really deep. One analogy I like to have is that we build a very powerful hammer, and now we need to find a very good nail to hit. But if you are aiming at like multiple different nails, you can basically lose focus. But basically you need to really understand what is the targeted customer this whole infrastructure is targeting. I think making that choice, we did have some learning curve on that. And I think so far that has been, but once you pick the specific niche and go really deep, everything becomes easier. I think what make me proud of our project is that we have the most comprehensive and like powerful end-to-end verification technology. We spend a lot of time working in this space. We basically explore all the verification technology from zero-knowledge proof to trusted execution environment to multi-sig, and each of those also have different mode, like a real-time computation, parallel computation, and now including formal verification. You can think about like right now there is a whole portfolio of verification technologies, and instead of like just fixating on one specific technology, or like just like have this belief in one technology, we put all the verification technology on the table and think about what is the most sensible combination for each use cases. And we get really good on that. I think that's something we are most proud of. That's a really good question. So in 5 years, I believe that. So I think that I like to step back a little bit to look at like the bigger trend in the computing world today. So from my point of view, there's quite a few big trends shifting. I like to think that because in blockchain world, it used to be a lot of people say we need to bring all the applications on chain. We need to bring more applications on chain. But I have a slightly different view of that. I think that we should really get really what's the best part of the Web3 and use that to go back to serve Web3. It's a little bit like the geocentric view of the universe versus heliocentric view. So I don't think like the crypto is like the center of the universe, that everything should be migrated on chain. I believe that there's something really valuable in crypto that we can use to go back to serve the Web2 world. Let me be more specific on that. But before that, let's be very clear that today 99% of the users' data, useful data, is still in Web3. Your social network, even your bank, like your emails. So when we compare Web2 and Web3, you can see that there is a few things that is very well refined in Web3 that is still missing in Web2. One thing I like to pick, mention is the verifiability. If you look at recently, I was looking at Google's the A2A agent-to-agent protocol announcement. If you read their document, you will see that when they say our protocol is very secure, what they mention is that our protocol has enterprise-grade authentication and authorization. That is exactly the status quo of the security in Web2. They only care about authentication and verification. Nobody is caring about verification in Web2. And I think that is a big missing piece in Web2. Essentially, in Web2, people only care about who you are and what are you allowed to do. But they don't care if you're lying, if you are saying the truth. So I think that is a big piece. I talked to a lot of people in Web2, and they all agree that verification is something that can be really used to augment the Web2 technology landscape. So I think in 5 years, in 5 years, I think that it will be great that I think in 5 years verifiability will be a cornerstone, a key ingredient in the Web2 security landscape, and Sparsity will be at the center to provide that service. The other thing I think that's super valuable, that is very common in Web2, but is still missing in Web2 is user data ownership. Today in the Web2 world, almost all the project will just grab user data and own it and monetize that. So that's pretty much like almost all the Web2 companies' way of monetize. But I do think that creates a lot of problem to the user. For example, I'm a user. My data is fractionally owned by all these different companies. Like Google owns some of my data. OpenAI owns some of my data. Telegram owns some of my other data. And these data are, fractionally in different companies and they don't collaborate. So there are multiple problems. Like first of all, my OpenAI cannot understand my social network in the Telegram, and that creates a lot of difficulty for if this data can synergize, it will create a lot of convenience for me. And the other thing is that all these companies monetizing my data, but in ideal world, I should own my data. I should be the only person who can decrypt them, like have a say on who can monetize them, understand who can use them, like exactly what people did on those. So those is almost like a culture in Web3 that Web2 is missing. So this is just like two of the examples that is very common in Web3, but Web2 is still missing. If you want to name another one, I would say in Web3 it's very common for the user to own a fraction of the share in the company, besides through tokens. But in Web2, now only employees own the top stock of the company, but the user usually have no stake in the company whatsoever. So those, I think, like what we are doing is like in a larger paradigm shift to use the Web3 values and the core result and tools in Web3 to serve the Web2, and that is our broader mission. In 5 years, we want to see the Web2 world be thoroughly transformed by this value to have to end up providing a better user experience for the end user.